Hello and welcome back to CLOWNFISH TV. It is me, Geeky Sparkles, and it's just me for this video because Kneon had to take our daughter somewhere. So, we're going to do another video talking about animation because the wins just keep on rolling in. We've already talked before about the Amphibia creator, and he was going to do a show for Sony, and I have said, and I will stand by that I thought it looked very interesting, and I thought the art was amazing, and I don't have bad feelings about it. But I get why these studios are kind of like worried about this kind of stuff, so they passed on it. So now he is going, and he's on a whole PR tour about it apparently, about how he's going to do steps to make his own stuff independently with his own independent studio. And I gotta tell you, I have nothing against Matt Braley himself because I think that's awesome that he's doing what, we've said he should do. And I think that's the right thing to do. But it's just so, oh my gosh, because you have no idea how much shit and slander that we took. How many people on Reddit talk total shit and lie about us constantly, and the negativity and all the hits, because how dare we tell people, and it's been told like 2 or 3 years ago, if you want to stay in animation's not looking great, jobs are drying up, your best bet is to go and do things independently and try to build up an audience that way. Do like Has Been Hotel, things like that. Oh my God, we took so much shit. And now here he is going on about his new studio, and he's going to do just that. One of their darlings, the Amphibia creator, and I've nothing against him. I think he's doing the right thing. It's about the people around him. The canceling of us, and we don't know anything about animation and all that mentality. And he's doing exactly what we said to do. And it's not just him. You've had several other big people in animation after we've said it, saying the same things. We've had that one guy did the video about, he does animation, like guru type stuff. He's like, you need to go do this. And all this stuff that we kept saying, but it's okay when they say it. But when we said it years ago, we were like stupid, didn't know anything about animation, and we were like the biggest enemy, and how dare we? And they were like making up lies about us and all kinds of shit. It's so frustrating. But maybe they'll even listen to Matt Braley. But you know what? Here's the thing, guys. You can apologize at any time. We will gladly accept your apologies, but I don't think you have the balls to do it. I'm not talking about Braley. There's people that are making the comments. You can go correct your misconceptions on social media, correct your lies, but you won't do it because you don't have the cojones to own up to your mistakes. But we'll be more than happy to take your apologies at any time. So before we get into it any further, please like and subscribe. And if you do, I will give you a woohoo, woohoo. And we're going to talk about this. So on the wrap, they're talking about Matt Braley and how he's going to forge a new path into independent animation. You mean like we told you all to do 2 or 3 years ago? You mean that? But okay, now that he says it, it matters. So they're talking about Matt Braley is plotting. Like, okay. Not in the insidious rubbing your hands together way, which is what we were accused of, by the way, that kind of behavior. Instead, he's trying to figure out his next move, or to be specific, moves in the increasingly pothole-filled world of animation. Are you allowed to say that now, Drew? Are we allowed to call out the elephant that's been in the damn room for years? Is it okay now that, is it safe now that we made it? We took all the hits so you guys can say it now. Is it safe? Because now the big people are saying the same things we did. I mean, literally, the guy that was behind Billy and Mandy's show, they harassed him. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, they harassed him for even commenting that we were right until he took this post down. And you know what? Everything we said has come to pass. Again, you may send those apologies at any time. I dare you. Anyway, the 37-year-old Braley, if you're unfamiliar, has contributed some of the most influential series in modern animation. He was a storyboard artist and director on Gravity Falls, great show. Wrote an episode of Steven Universe, it's not bad, but it's not the best. And wrote and directed episodes of Big City Greens. So then he did Amphibia, which, oh my gosh, Amphibia. We're not saying Amphibia is a bad show, but he was a really popular show, and you're allowed to besmirch it in any way, shape, or form. Not that I would, but I'm just saying, like, this is a person who's beloved to these crazed animation people, and now he's saying the same thing we have been saying, but it's okay when he says it, right? So we're talking about how Amphibia ended, and then he was talking about how he went on to work on his Sony movie, which I have said, and I will say again, The art is amazing. I think I would have been interested to see this. This one I'm bummed we aren't getting. So, but I get the reason why for Sony, because they think it was too niche, and I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I also think that people would have loved it. So they were just press release. They announced that he had a movie in development in 2023. He was working on it. Basically, it's kind of like it's like an autobiography in some ways, because the story, he has a condition, short bowel syndrome. And he basically wanted to make a show so that kids that were sick or, had different reality from other kids could see, something for themselves and see that they can go out and do things. Their bodies may be fragile, but, it was for every age group, and it doesn't matter how old you are, but you can see that lifestyle changing and changing your circumstances is scary and you can grapple with it. But it sounded like an interesting idea. It really did. But they passed on it. And I think the art style looks great. I think it looks good. So that they were nitpicking things like, the logo and the music and stuff. And then they basically just said, can I make a movie about a sick kid and Thai spirits? And they're like, no, thanks. And they didn't think it was commercially viable. And it probably wasn't in some ways, but they also didn't know that K-pop Demon Hunters was going to be so popular. Not that it's the same thing, because they're not. They're different stories and they're different cultures. But the idea that banking on some new ideas for other cultures might have been a popular decision, they passed on this before K-pop Demon Hunters came out, but K-pop Demon Hunters was well underway. So it would have been like right before it came out on Netflix, and they had no idea it was going to be so big, and they passed on this. But I kind of get why, because I think it's more of a niche thing than K-pop Demon Hunters would be. Even though that sounds like weird, like how can K-pop Demon Hunters not be niche? I think it had more mass appeal. Anyway, so skip down here. He basically said Sony was really receptive, and they still, they were never mean about it. They were always like supportive of him and talking about it and everything else. More art. I mean, this is just beautiful. I would have loved to have seen it just for the beauty of it, if nothing else. He says about many projects are shelved, never made, and all that other stuff, which is true, very true. So now we get down to here, and he's going to talk about his own thing, fantasy project. So with the Sony Project Dead, he has hit a fork in the road, the fork that we told you was coming, the fork that we told you what to do. So I'm going to get back in one of these big studios and just get back to work developing something for 2 more years and end up on the same board, basically on the floor. Or I could just use this opportunity to relaunch myself and start my own thing, which is what we told you to do. So good job. We told you to do this. So he has made a new studio called Fantasy Project. And that's the little logo with the baby dragon and the egg, which I think is cute, by the way. And it's an encapsulation of Braley's innate design sense, his skill as inherently appealing character design, and his deep love of fantasy tropes. And he said that the studio is just him and a couple of other folks, which I want to tell you again, we said this. We said, since animation is being outsourced because of expenses and things like that, your best bet, if you want to make your own thing or you want to make other things that they pay you to make, is to get some of your friends who have the experience and stuff that you work with and start your own thing. And that's basically what he just did. And they're going to all celebrate him and be like, wow, what a brilliant move. It's the smartest thing ever. We told you to do this. Okay? We told you 2 or 3 years ago, this is what you're going to need to do. And we were the devil. We were literally... People that said we were right were harassed until they took posts down. That's how bad it was by these morons. They don't know anything about animation. How's it going for you, Sia? How is that going? Because apparently we do know a thing or two about animation. Okay? So he's basically saying that what he wants to do is they want to create, original stories with different lengths. We're going to start with short form and work our way up from there to see if we can get to movie, which that's smart. He said it's a studio that's not about contract work. It's not about hire us, we'll animate your commercials. It's about telling extremely compelling stories that resonate themes with characters. Basically, we want to tell our own stuff. We're going to do our own things. We're going to start short, try to build up to a whole, getting backing for a movie release or whatever. Again, smart. But he goes down here and he's talking about what their business model is, okay? It's going to be, the first part is Kickstarter. Meant for a new Braille original. So he's going to kickstart an original thing at first. And again, you don't going to need as much money. I mean, you're going to need some money, but it's not going to be as bad as if you're hiring a studio. If him and his friends are the ones doing most of the work, they should be able to do it in a more cost efficient way. So that might work out for him. I think when you're kickstarting something big, it's harder. It depends how much they ask for. I didn't look to see. So it's basically saying, do you guys want this? Would you maybe throw $5 away to see something like this hit the screen? Fair, very fair thing to do. The next phase would be following in the footsteps of something like Glitch, which we've mentioned. Glitch, which we kept bringing up as an example. You know, you guys could have been Glitch before Glitch was Glitch. If you just listened to us, I'm just saying. It has a new show from Glitch, which has a new show from his Disney Channel compatriot Dana Terrace coming soon, or Spindle Horse, and was the home to Has-Been Hotel. And they both came from merchandise forward places like Disney, which often waits years to produce a single piece of tie-in merchandise to what they're doing. We're after the same model, which is you make characters and worlds that people love, and then you consider merchandise based around the world of those characters. Oh, I'm really glad Neon's not here. How long have we been saying that merchandise matters? These are the same people that were like, oh my God, the 80s shows were just toy commercials. The toy commercials, they sold toys, which then paid for the show to be done. We're seeing the ones that are the big franchises with animation usually have toy tie-ins because the toys are where they make the money, because a lot of these shows they're so expensive, they're not going to make a lot off of it. If it's a movie or something, automatically you're going to make more, and automatically you're going to have toy sales. But like a lot of shows could have made so much more money, but they were going after the purity of the craft. He gets it, which is what I've been telling you. You need to have that merchandise tied into it. We literally pitched a show to Disney, okay? And part of our pitch, and this was back 10 years ago, something like that. Part of our pitch for that was how could it be merchandised? How could it be turned into an online experience? We thought all that out ahead of time. We actually pitched that with what we were pitching as a show. Because we know that the money comes from the merchandise and the tie-ins. Because that's common flippin' sense. All right? He's already talking. That's what they're going to do. We're going to build this stuff up and then we're going to have merch. I know it sounds so bold and new. No, it doesn't. Merchandise drives the creative production, not the other way around. I know this sounds so bold and new. It's how it used to be in the 80s. I want to flip a table so bad right now. Like, no fucking kidding. Like the 80s. Yes. You mean the 80s that people have been talking about and you have been shitting on, not him, but these people have been shitting on about toys in the 80s and about how 80s animation sucks because they're just toy commercials and all this shit. He wasn't even around for. And he's like, merchandise drives the creative production like the 80s. It sounds bold and new. It's not fucking bold and new. It's proven and tried and true. Okay? Not so old here now, am I bitches? Not so dumb and don't know anything about animation now, am I bitches? Again, you may send apologies if you have the balls to do so. So doubt you will, because you're a bunch of fucking cowards and lemmings. It feels like somewhere along the line we forgot how to make money from these wonderful characters, which is utterly bizarre to me. Oh, yeah, if only somebody had been telling you this for the last several years, that merchandising matters. If only somebody had said that. Oh, wait, we fucking did. Repeatedly. Again, I'm not blaming him. I'm giving him credit for going out and trying. I full credit, I respect what you're doing. I have no problem with him in particular. It's just that they love him. And all he's doing is saying everything we said that we took shit for. But it's okay when he says it. It's like, oh my gosh, why didn't we think of that? If only someone had spoken up sooner kind of mentality. And it's like, but we did. And what happened? Put a flaming geeky eye on this whole thing because I am so pissed. I can't even. I get to the place where I'm so frustrated, I'm going to cry. And it's not because I'm sad. It's because I'm so frustrated and I want to slap you. And I'm trying very hard not to. And that's about where I am right now. I'm not going to lie. Disney never made any official amphibian merchandise, which still haunts him. Why would you make these great characters for this big company that's known, by the way, for exploiting IP? True. And here we are making nothing. And the revenue being brought in by these shows is shrinking every year because it's based on linear ads. True. It's just a mess in terms of something that used to work, now it doesn't work. Okay, here's part of the reason for this, though. Part of the reason for this is because Disney does make IP of things and movies and shows that they feel are going to sell. If they didn't make movie merch tie-ins for your Amphibia, it's because they knew that no one was going to buy it. Because quite frankly, most of the audience for your show were like the cartoon stands that go from thing to thing to thing and try to police everything about it and get mad if you mention about prom or anything. They never were going to buy anything. But they know they'll buy, stuff for other shows that they have a hand in. And they'll make merch for those things or films because they know they'll be able to sell it. Disney, they will cancel things that are doing well if they aren't doing well enough. So if they thought they could market this and make money and exploit more money from you, they would have done it. Disney didn't do it because, quite frankly, Amphibia stuff wasn't going to sell to the level that made it worth their ROI to do so. ROI is return on investment, if you don't know. They said it's just a mess in terms of something that used to work. Now it doesn't work, but everyone has blinders on, hoping that somehow this ad-based model will work again for them. It can and it can't. It's not going to for the big networks because linear's down. And when it comes to streaming, it's also encapsulated and controlled by them that good luck, they're getting rid of syndication stuff everywhere because they make more money, not. So there, in that regard, yes. In the regard of like making your own money on like YouTube and places like that, which ironically, Cartoon Brew did an article about that too, which is basically what we said, which was, YouTube has a lot of money for ads and they have more money than anyone, but good luck getting it because it's very nebulous about who gets what and when, where, which we talked about. And animation stuff seems to be in decline. So there you can support yourself with ads if you can stand out. The problem is AI slop's coming through, if we're going to be honest, and that's causing you problems. So he's trying to find a way around that. And you can merchandise your stuff, and I recommend you merchandise your stuff. But the thing is, you have to be realistic about how well it will merchandise. If you have stuff like K-pop Demon Hunter stuff, that stuff flies up the shelf because it merchandises well. And and Netflix, I think, was unprepared. Sony was unprepared for that to be doing so well. They should have had merchandise out last year before Christmas. They would have made probably a lot more money than they're going to make putting it out late this year. I think that the hype's still there, but it's going to die down enough that I think they would have done better if they had had it ready. But not everything is going to merchandise like that. That one just resonates with people. You need something that really like everybody loves is pop culture in general. And that's the stuff that's going to sell. Like Bluey stuff sells like crazy. Cocomelon stuff sold like crazy. Movie stuff like Moana and Disney Princesses sell like crazy. Marvel characters sell like crazy because those ones they know they're going to make their money back on. So you have to really kind of like balance that one. But a few years ago, if you'd listened to me, you'd be so much further ahead. I'm just pointing that out there. He says it's very scary to start a new thing, but he's deeply committed. Yes, it's incredibly scary, which we've also mentioned. We mentioned this when we said, hey, get your friends, go do your own thing. We said, is it easy? No. It's never easy to build anything. I've done it several times. It is not easy. It is hard. It is exhausting. It is not always, you're going to fail far more than you succeed. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're going to, for every 20 times you fail, you might get one success. And that is the truth. That is the way. Should he be nervous? Yes. The good news is for him, he has the connections he already needs in place. And he has people that already have the experience in place. So he kind of has a leg up over other people doing the same thing, which we told you to do 2 or 3 years ago. I'm terrified to start the studio, which, by the way, the studio of our size and what we're capable of might as well be a YouTube channel. Well, if you'd done the YouTube channel a couple years ago, like I told you to, you'd probably already have a big audience that you could leverage a lot faster and a lot easier. Just saying. We're talking more about a brand because in order to have full-time workers, we're going to need millions of dollars, which means they're going to have to go get investors and things like that. The company doesn't have any angel investors, and why we thought about starting in with him with a bunch of his friends, he decided that having multiple CEOs would be a nightmare. Yes, but you're not going to get this money. I don't think you're going to get millions and millions of dollars just from Kickstarter. I'm sorry. I just don't think you're going to. It's really important to show the world that you can put money where your mouth is before you start asking for their money. Yes, when you're asking for the big company's money, Yes, that's why you should have started out doing small things on YouTube for proof of concept and proof of audience 2 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever it was, when we told you guys that you need to do that. You'd be so much further ahead. I'm just saying. Now it's going to be harder. He's not quitting Hollywood. He's developing on the side. He's still open with, so basically I'll go work for you as long as you're paying me, but I'm going to do this on the side as long as you know, okay? Which is not a bad thing. I've told you to do that too. If you don't have enough work to keep yourself, afloat on your own stuff, then you work a job and you do your stuff. Do you know how many people who have book deals? I talked to a lot of them who had book deals at like the big publishers that got an advance, but that advance was like for 3 years worth of work. So you divide it by 3, it's not very much money. So they had a full-time job while they were working on their books. Pretty much all of them. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame in it. As long as you meet your deadlines, you can have a job and then still do it. Kneon worked full-time job. We had little kids. And I was working on the comic stuff at home and I had our daughter at home because she was really little. And I'd have to go take her, haul her to get my son at school and everything else and do all the stuff I had to do at home. And we worked on the comic and he would stay up till like 2 or 3 in the morning working on the comic, have to get up at like 7 o'clock and then go back into work. And we did it for a few years, but honestly, it was killing him. And that's the reason we had to walk it back, because people demanded the moon. But we did it because it mattered to us. We don't get like holidays. We occasionally get like a holiday like Christmas or something off, but you're like, why do you work all the time? Why don't you have days off? Because this matters to us. And if we quit, if we take off time, we can't do what we need to do to make sure that we can pull ahead and we keep the, engagement and things that we have. It is work, but you have to make the choice. Do I want the dream, or do I want to go work a 9 to 5 and then be, it's not even secure anymore in animation, but, not have to worry about anything else. The thing is, you can have both. If you're smart, you're not going to have time to go to the movies and play games and do all this other stuff, but you can do both, but it's a lot of work and it's hard. But you can do it. I'm telling you. I know for a fact. So they said, I think it's really a demonstration of where we are in the business. We're like, hey, I'm ready and willing to make great shows and movies for people. But until they get their act together and they are interested in actually making things, I'm going to try and make things myself. Again, that is exactly what we told you before. Like, Matt here is getting everybody kissing his ass and telling him what a genius he is. We said again, no shade on him. This isn't his fault. But we told people the exact same thing. And the people that are kissing his ass and being like, you go, are the same people who talked shit, lied, made videos slandering us, the one Sia chick made all kinds of videos, which she pulled down, talking how we were stupid, we don't know animation, all these videos. They go to Reddit and look it up. You'll see all kinds of constant shit that's not even true. Because we told them this exact same thing and they didn't want to hear it. But now that they're starting to see in real time that we were right, that it's coming to this point, and he's saying this, they're all like, oh, he's our hero, let's all follow him. And he hasn't even proved that he could do it yet. But again, we told you this. Gosh, if he had listened to us then, he'd be so much further ahead. So much further ahead. He encourages people to check this space in 5 to 10 years to see where things are with Fantasy Project. But right now, he describes the studio as a small, dedicated group trying to make some really cool stuff, hoping that they can turn it into something viable. And if they can't, at least they tried. Again, we told you guys this. We said, jobs in animation are drying up. They're sending jobs overseas. All the stuff is going to this place because it's cheaper. And the only way you're going to compete is if you can make your own studio, and in this case, do your own thing, or go and take work from other companies, but you are more nimble because you are a smaller thing and you and your friends have the ability to do it without all the bloat. And I said this. Oh, we said this. We told you this. I'm so and I'm not going to say I'm not angry, I'm disappointed, because I'm fucking angry. And I'm disappointed. But I'm mostly angry. Because we stood by what we said. We never wavered on it. And now it's like, oh, look, guys. Look, this guy's doing that. Look at it. He's so brave. He says we should do merchandise to make sure we can continue to do animation. Wow, what a novel idea. Again, not throwing shade at him. He's just doing what he's doing. He might not even know what we said, but I find it hard to believe because everybody else knows about it. And we have friends in animation, and I know a lot of people know what we say because they tell us the comments that are being made. So he's just talking about different things he's going to be doing, and this is different stuff here. And this is Kickstarter, which interesting. I think it looks Claire and the Below, which I think looks interesting. I love this. I think this looks great. So he's going to do Kickstarter. What are you going to do the Kickstarter? So this is what he's going to do next. Now, he said he was inspired by that Genndy Tartakovsky's groundbreaking series Hammer Jack. But by the way, Genndy also said the same things we've been saying, but it's okay when he said it. So when are you going to be doing this? He doesn't know when how the Kickstarter will do. It was in the middle of a 30-day pre-launch. There were 3,000 follows on the Kickstarter page when we spoke. So now he's got this PR thing going on. So they're trying to do this, which I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty cute. I think it looks pretty good. The art style anyway is definitely interesting. So there you go. You can check for his Kickstarter. I'm just like, again, we're open to taking apologies. You guys and Kevin Smith, anytime you guys feel you got the balls to do it, we will happily listen. Because I can't even stress the amount of stress and amount of shit that was shoveled our way because we said all of the stuff he's saying here. And now it's 2 years, 3 years later, and they're like, oh shit, we need to pivot and do this. And it's like, yeah, no kidding. No fucking kidding. Anyway, sorry for ranting, but I'm so pissed. Like, you have no idea. Anyway, please like and subscribe, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.